I'm Deb Wilkinson. I'm a self-taught artist living on the beautiful Isle of Harris in the Outer Hebrides. It's going to be lovely to talk to you today about my inspiration from the islands, all about what I do, and I really hope you enjoy this today and have a little insight into my life as an artist. Okay, so I guess my first artistic journey began probably when I was about 7 or 8. My dad came home with a paper one day and I just looked at all the cartoons in it and I thought, do you know what, I'd love to try and draw that cartoon. So my earliest memory of any kind of artwork was Fred Bassett out of the Daily Mail, drawing him, and also a cartoonist called Sachs, and he had some amazing structures to his cartoons, his drawing, and I was just inspired to do something like that, to be creative, and so that's where my journey started all those years ago. So since my early years of doing the newspaper drawings, I then obviously was at school, and nearly every evening I'd come home and think of something to draw. And one of the main things I did back then, which is quite funny to me now, is that I'd get a book, a storybook, and I'd copy it from beginning to end. Lady and the Tramp, I'll never forget which one it was. So I did all the writing in my little book, and then I'd do all the sketches in the book, and that's probably the first thing I did at a school age, sort of 10, 11 wise. Secondary school, art was obviously my favourite subject, but I just wasn't any good at anything else. So I couldn't go to college, unfortunately, so I went straight into full-time work when I left school, and art kind of took a bit of a sideline then. It wasn't until I had my daughter and I had a bit of spare time that I got back into drawing. I think in the early 90s I did a few watercolours, mainly of motorbikes. And yeah, that was about it. And then I went back into full-time work. So yeah, things kind of take a bit of a sideline with your passion. But I was determined to get it back at some stage, which I have done now, which is a blessing. My first experience of the Hebrides, the Outer Hebrides, was in 2019. I lived in Argyll at the time and just wanted to spread my wings, I guess, go further afield. And as soon as I got here, it was a total sense of calm. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it was like I was home. I felt home inside, and knew I just had to be here. So I kept coming back a couple of times a year, and every time I was back, it was just like I was just so relaxed, calm. My soul was happy. That's all I can describe it. I was just happy on the inside as well as showing on the outside, and that was a massive thing for me. Not just the beauty of the islands, it was the warmth of the people, the community spirit was just something that I'd never experienced before. And yeah, I kind of just wanted to be a part of that community, that lovely, relaxed, calm, wonderful, just free-spirited community. It was beautiful. So yeah, I just had to be here, and here I am. The decision was instant. As soon as I came to the islands, I knew this is where I wanted to be. It's the place I wanted to live the rest of my days, and that was it. It was an instant decision. There was almost no thought. I just had to be here, and I'd do whatever it took to realise my dream. You know, no regrets. I started painting again in 2020. I'd never tried oil painting before, and I had a few weeks off work, and I thought, you know, I'm going to pick up some oil paints and give it a go. And that's where the main story started. I enjoyed oil painting so much, just painting from photographs I'd taken round about the local area, and obviously the Outer Hebrides, which I was painting all the time. And I decided to take the bull by the horns, quit my job, and follow my passion. Inspiration-wise, every day is just an inspiration. Wherever I go on these islands, the feel is there, whether it's a moody day, a sunny day, just wandering along the shore. There's so much emotion, and that's how I paint. I just need to express that emotion down on paper, and every painting that I do has a piece of me in there, because I take photographs wherever I go, and I go back to my studio and try and put that feeling down on paper. It's something deep inside that I try to relive from that moment of walking along the beach, or kicking sand in the air, or just laying down and doing snow angels. I try and put that feeling back into my paintings. So everyone is really special, and the inspiration is every day, every single day. One of the things I've tried in the last 2 years is painting on slate. I just fancied trying a different texture, and I find it really works with the sea. The texture is so good for the sea and the sky. It just really works, and it's so vibrant on the slate because the slate is natural and it's black. And I have a friend who lives just up the road, Doug, who's very kindly carves my stands for me. Some of these wooden stands were actually carved from fallen wood from the castle grounds, Lewes Castle grounds. So it's very special. It's all connected to the islands. Everything's connected, and they just really work because you've got the texture of the wood, the natural curves of the wood, and the natural patterns in the slate, and together they work really nicely. And of course now I've recently moved to Outer Hebrides, and the view from where I paint in my studio is just idyllic. I'm surprised I get any work done at all, to be fair, but it is beautiful. I have panoramic views of the bays, the mountains, the Clisham. It's just stunning, and again, inspiration to paint, whether it be on slate or canvas, is equally thrilling for me to be able to put that down in. It's a little story in itself, and some people, if they have a photo that they have of a special place, they give it to me, and I paint that on a slate or a canvas, and that's very special, especially if I've had a lot of people get engaged, renew their vows on beaches, and they have a photo that is extremely special, and to capture that on a canvas or a slate is so lovely to see the joy in. I love spreading the happiness through my art. It's a massive thing for me, and if I can give a little bit of joy back from the landscape, it's everything. Yeah. Not going to art college when I left school. Everything that I do now is completely self-taught. I always say to people, if they do a workshop with me, they come in a little bit frightened and that they've never painted before. But I really started, like with my oil painting, only 4 years ago, just nearly 5 years now. And all I say to people is anyone can do that, anything they want to do, creativity, because you just need to feel what you're doing. It doesn't matter what the result looks like. If you have your passion in something, that is good enough. You don't have to be incredibly fantastic or anything like that. It's just to put your feeling into it. So I've been learning as I go along. I haven't really done any courses. I did watch a few when I did some finer work with pastels. I watched a guy on Facebook who did animal portraits with pastels. Jason Morgan, his name was, absolutely fantastic artist. So I learned a little bit about pastels from him. But with regards to my oil paints and my new pastel paintings, it's literally, it's just trial and error. See what works, And some of the biggest mistakes have turned out to be my favourite paintings. So yeah, just if you've got that there, that passion there to do it, I'd say just do it, you know, because you never know what's going to come out of it for you personally. I mean, for me, it was a real, I saw myself growing over the few years, and it's been an incredible journey to find out more about myself, as well as my passion for what I'm doing. Yeah. Many of you may know that I run my gallery from home. This is something I was really passionate about doing because I wanted a space where I could both create and for people to come in and see what I create. So it was very important for me to do that. So the home I'm in now, I have one of the downstairs room as my gallery space where I have all my paintings displayed. And I also now have a separate space, which is the porch at the front of the house, to actually do my creating. So it kind of works really well because if people come to visit my gallery, they can have a browse in the gallery without me being there. So they can browse at their leisure while I'm just doing my painting. And they can also come out of the gallery and they can always watch me doing my work if they like. It's really important for me to have a space where visitors can feel comfortable and not feel pressured. So this is the way I could do it, by having my creative space separate from the gallery space. The gallery is open at the moment. I open all year round. Up until April, I open Thursdays, Fridays and Saturdays from 11 till 4. And from May onwards through to October, I open from every day except Wednesday and Sunday from 10 till 5. So I can, if anybody's late off the ferry and they want something to do, then they only have to message me and I will open up for them so they can, you know, I can do that as well. Or likewise, if anybody's about on a Sunday and I'm at home, just pop me a message. You know, I'm quite happy to get the kettle on and while you have a browse at the painting. So yeah, that's a really important thing to me, to have a separate space to create and a separate space for my visitors who enjoy a good blether, and it's nice for them if they've already had a week, say, on the islands. It's nice for them to come into the gallery and then transport themselves back to one of their favourite places on the islands in one of my paintings, which sometimes they like to take away with them, which is really special, and it's a real compliment for me to be able to give them that happiness to take away a special memory. Yeah. Moving to the islands personally for me was a decision that was instant. The best decision I've ever made. A lot of my friends thought I was a bit mad going all this way on my own, but to me it was something I felt inside I had to do, and to be on the islands here has been so good for me personally. It's so freeing to be on the islands. It's like a warm hug being on the islands. You don't need anything other than to be in the moment wherever you are, on the beach, in my home. I've never felt alone because I have a feeling of warmth wherever I am, be it with the people of the island who've been incredibly welcoming to me, which was a massive thing. The islanders are beautiful people, very, very welcoming and warm, and the sense of community here, you never ever feel alone. There's always someone there for you if you should need anybody, but everybody respects their space as well. So personally, I've never been happier. It's very freeing, and yeah, I just can't explain it enough in words. It's just a feeling I have, a comfort feeling to feel at home. You know, I feel home for the first time in my life, and it's a wonderful feeling. And professionally, I still have to pinch myself because I can't believe I'm now doing something I'm passionate about and actually making a living for it. But making a living from it wasn't the main thing. I just wanted to create, and I create what I feel, and if people like my work, that is an amazing compliment if they want to walk away with a piece of my work, because for me it's all about not doing what's standard, it's doing what I feel inside. And I get a chance to show that when I attend craft markets, both in Tarbert and in Stornoway. It's a lovely way to get to know people, to have a chat about what you do, and to find out what people find interesting. You know, people come up to me and we start talking and they tell me some amazing stories. So that inspires me too, because they're inspired by what I do. But they inspire me as well by all their stories, and you know, just chatting to people in general about what I do. And some people have been inspired to paint because I've said to them, you know, when they say to me, I'm not good enough to paint, yes, you are good enough to paint. Just feel it, and you'll surprise yourself. So it's kind of a double edge, you know. It's been good for me professionally, but on a personal level, it's been really nice to be able to put that little bit of inspiration for people as well. But personally, it's the best thing I ever did. If you ever think about it, I'd say grab it with both hands. You know, there's no regrets. Never have any regrets. My parents taught me this, and it's a massive thing for me to follow my dreams, which is what my parents always wanted me to do. So yeah, it's perfect. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. And I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it was like I was home. I felt home inside, and knew I just had to be here. So I kept coming back a couple of times a year, and every time I was back, it was just like I was just so relaxed, calm. My soul was happy. That's all I can describe it. I was just happy on the inside as well as showing on the outside, and that was a massive thing for me.